welcome back to Faster and Louder. If you've been watching this channel for any period of time, you know that a vast majority of it has been working on my 73 Javelin AMX. I have at least 20-25 1-hour plus videos on everything that I've done to this car. It's been a huge process. It's an ongoing process. But what I wanted to do was make more of like a YouTube friendly video or two that kind of just compiles everything, just touches the highlights and puts them into more easily digestible videos, so you can kind of just like sit down for maybe an hour or two and watch everything. I don't know if this is all going to fit into one video, because like I said, I have hours and hours of stuff to go through to try to like slim this down a little bit, but I'm going to try to do at least a couple videos and just keep them, you know, under an hour if I can. I do want to thank Ivan and Randy specifically for helping me with a lot of different stuff on this car, and I also want to thank Dan Curtis and the other guys over at AZ AMC Restorations. They did the engine. They've done a lot to just help me with knowledge in general, just little things here and there, as you'll probably see in this video or two. So enjoy. If you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, then you might have a pretty good idea on what this car is already. I've already had a few of these going back a long time. My very first car was one of these. I had one of these when I was like 16 or 17, never really got it running. I had a few project cars in between, and then most recently had one that I sold, and then the next owner totaled it. That kind of brings us to present day. This is a 1973 Javelin AMX. Like I said, I have something of an obsession with these cars. They're definitely an oddball. They were the competitor to the obvious cars like the Camaro, Mustang, Challenger, what have you. And these actually did really well in Trans Am racing, if you're not familiar with that. So definitely look that up. I bet you're kind of curious about some of the things like the overall condition. As you can see, this is a very dirty car. It's sat for a long time. This car sat since at least 1980. If we come back over here and look at it, look at this. It says September 1980 right here, California. If you check it out here, this dash, I mean, it's dirty and it's old, but it's actually pretty nice. I mean, all things considered, for a car that's been sitting for a long time and doesn't have as much rust as you might expect this car to have, the dash is in really nice shape. The interior is shot, as you can see. It's just got crud and dust and dirt and who knows what. So yeah, this is the old York compressor, big boy. It's got power steering, got power brakes. It even has the tilt steering column. The first Javelin I ever had a tilt steering column, and this is the first one that I've had since then. See, pretty cool. If I can get it running, we can get the brakes at least a little bit sorted out. I can back it out of here and I can just clean this whole thing off and make it look a lot less like a turd. So that's what the goal is, at least short term. This thing has been sitting for 40 years, so I don't know. It's gonna be pretty interesting to see how this turns out. Well, I took off the air cleaner. That's the vacuum activated flap thingy. Took that off the carb. Oh my god, look at this. Look at this air filter. It looks like it came out of the freaking Titanic or something. Oh, I just checked the oil. It's black and it smells like gas. The transmission fluid is actually still red, believe it or not. Nothing moves on this entire damn car. Like anything that's supposed to move doesn't move. Like this is all just locked up. Like nothing moves. Yeah, this one's gonna be a little bit of, I think it's gonna take some elbow grease, you know? Just a couple hours or something. This is gonna be a huge project. This is by far the most ambitious project I've ever had, but this car is super rare and it's so cool. This is the coolest car I've ever had, even though it looks like a total turd. My plan originally was to try to get the car in here and then pretty much just go through some stuff and see if I can get this engine to turn over by hand. I thought that they had gotten it to turn over by hand before I even bought it, but I didn't think that that was actually the case, so I was right. I'm kind of coming to the conclusion that even if I can get this engine unstuck, it's probably not going to be in great shape. I'm thinking more and more I should probably just pull this engine and start kind of disassembling everything, clean it all up. I don't know, just get ready to get rebuilt essentially. I think what I'm going to start with is just vacuuming the inside. I might try to wipe down the interior a little bit. I just want to make it not so miserable to be inside of this car. We got the interior. It is completely disgusting. Like, that is not wood grain or anything cool like that. It's just grease and dirt and like probably some kind of mildew or something. This is all completely shot, so obviously this is gonna get redone at some point, but there's not even carpet here. Like, the mice just ate that. They're like, nom 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 nom, nice tasty carpet. So, it's just so gross. I'm actually wearing a face mask because I have a feeling this is gonna get pretty nasty. So, I'm just gonna vacuum it up as good as I can, and then I'm actually gonna try to wipe it down, I think, and see if it even makes a difference. But, let's get started on that. All right, let's get to vacuuming. Okay, so one thing I've been thinking was I was actually going to take these seats out. So I'm going to do that because it's really hard to get back here with these seats that won't recline forward. So that's going to happen. Here we go, here it is. Beautiful. That's to make it smell good right there, you know. You stick one of these in there, that's good for like 30, 40 years. Woo, I'm all sweaty and gross. Check it out. So, this looks like fireworks. Ugh. Yeah, nothing under here. Oh my god, it's just so gross. This stuff just comes apart like nothing. So now that I got everything pretty much taken out, and by everything I mean those two seats, I'm kind of thinking I'm gonna probably just take out the rear seats here, and I'm just gonna pull the rest of this carpet out because, you know, it's gonna need to come out obviously, and I'm at a really good point where I can do that. And I believe this is supposed to be bolted down somewhere, but well, it's not. The only thing keeping it on is the actual shifter handle. So I'm just gonna kind of lift it up and just get rid of all this crap. And yeah, let's see if we find any additional treasures. Hopefully not dead animals of any kind. That'd be cool. Alright, so this took me a second because in the technical service manual there's really nothing about how to remove the back seats. There's like hooks underneath the seats. You basically got to grab on basically in the middle here and the middle over here and pull up and back towards you, and it slides out of it, and then you can actually pull it out, which I'm about to do in just a second. So yeah, that's definitely some sort of nest. There's just a bunch of, oh god, it smells so bad in here. Woo-hoo. I'm really disappointed that disgusting is already a car and a cool name and doesn't apply to this car at all, because this car is disgusting. I actually pulled out a mummified mouse, it looks like. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. Oh my god. I'm not putting these seats back in here. Oh. I think I'm a little more visibly disgusting now. I'm slowly turning into the car, I think. I think I spent enough time here today. I spent the most time on this panel right here, and it's got this just buildup that's really hard to get rid of, and it still needs quite a bit of work, but I spent like a good hour just on this panel alone, and I think it made a pretty decent difference. What's most surprising is the dash. It actually has a little bit of a shine to it now. I got rid of a lot of that grime that was here on the corner, cleaned up the steering wheel pretty decently. The dash looks pretty great, to be honest. Started taking out some more of this sound deadening. It's just a factory sound deadening, just rubberized, spray on, roll on crap, whatever that is. Anyways, that's gonna be a job in itself, but I need to get up all that stuff kind of cleared up. I think I'm gonna get like a carpet or adhesive remover and kind of just spray it on here, let it sit. I still need to get the console out of there so I can actually get underneath it properly. One of the things I'm gonna do in the somewhat near future is get these panels off of here. I'm going to paint them. So what I got for the interior is this SEM SEM, I don't know what it is, color coat, but it's a camel color, and actually the cap is somewhat accurate on the color for this. I tested it out on a piece of paper actually, and I'd say that this is pretty similar. Moving on, I'll show you some of the stuff that I have sitting on standby. I totally forgot about this, but I bought a 360 and I was going to make a stroker out of it, 383. I don't even know what I'm gonna do with that project just yet, but anyways, this Edelbrock came with the 360 that I bought. Then I had to track down this bad boy. It's an Offenhauser 360, but this is technically a single plane, technically, I guess, but it has a little split design here. So this will actually work pretty good, I think, with my combo that I'm wanting to do. Supposedly has an RPM range of about 1800 all the way up to like, I don't know, 6,000, something like that. The real reason I got this is because it's lower than a lot of the other aftermarket intakes, and this should work with the cowl induction air cleaner that I have. I got some sound deadener from Amazon, Silas, whatever. This is a sound deadener and heat reducer. Oh, this carpet right here. This stuff is called Azite, if I'm pronouncing that right. It's just a really thin, flexible carpet. I ordered it online. I believe I got, it's 80 inches wide, and then you order it by the yard for how long you want it. And I got 4 yards of it. So like 3, 6, 9, 12 feet by 80 inches. So that should be more than enough for the interior. And then this thing right here, I got this off of eBay. It's a company called Tanaka. I got this tan color for obvious reasons. And well, I don't love the color match. I mean, these are faded, so these are obviously lighter than the interior is supposed to be. But yeah, this is a little dark. I just want it to look good, presentable, and not disgusting. So that's the main things I'm gonna be working on. The 401 is gonna get pulled. We're gonna take this bad boy out. After that, I think that we'll kind of just go over what that plan actually is for the 401 and what that's gonna look like. I recorded a little bit yesterday. This is like the first real day that we're gonna be doing anything, so we're pretty much just going to start disconnecting things, and we're gonna see if we can get it pulled out. I got the engine hoist over there. One thing that we might get stuck on is the engine is stuck. Did you see what So the engine is stuck, and that's gonna make it so we can't get to the the torque converter bolts. So that is probably gonna end up coming out with the engine, which is probably going to make a mess. So we'll see what happens with that. Hopefully Ivan comes later with a pry bar so he can try to turn it, but I'm not getting my hopes up. So let's dig in. We disconnected all the electrical stuff. Randy took off the carburetor, and I forgot the carburetor plate at my house. We have the kickdown linkage on the transmission that we got to disconnect still. That's over there. Yep, the little thing that Randy's wiggling. And then the actual motor mounts, bell housing, bolts, and I think that's it. So it's getting pretty close. We are both pretty dirty. Randy's shirt was white when he got here. All right, well, it's day 2 of getting the engine taken out. Randy came over yesterday, helped me out with a lot of stuff. Kind of just disassembling things, getting it ready to be removed. I spent like a good hour looking for the carburetor plate. Got the engine hoist over here. Now I have my engine stand back over here so I can actually put the 401 on it. Let's just do stuff. All right. Now it's time to start getting serious. Oh, Nikes. I need a swivel thingy. Well, that was a fail. I'm getting serious, dude. Okay, so little update. I got the car back down on the ground. I am missing a couple small things in order to actually disconnect the transmission from the engine. So I'm gonna get some of those tools and I'm going to regroup, come back, and see what I can do. made a pretty big mess, but it's out. Oh my god, look at this.
Glad it ain't my shop.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it right there. The whole thing. I can start trying to figure out what we're gonna do with separating this. So we'll probably put it down on the ground and get on some cardboard or something. What I'd like to do is get this as ready as possible to bring to the machine shop. So we'll try to make some progress on that if we can. Actually, one of the next things is probably going to be rolling this out and just spraying it down. Get some of this dirt and transmission fluid and stuff off of it.
Get some of this nasty AMC off of it.
We need to christen it with some PBR. I got some in the office over there. Just pour some beer on it. Pour some PBR.
Only old cars can you do this with.
Special feature.
Okay, now comes the fun part.
There's the converter.
There you go.
Okay, it's on the stand. Now we can start taking off little pieces. Okay, well, we got most of the stuff off here. Had a little bit of trouble with some bolts in here. They're just corroded and not really wanting to fit sockets on them. But ready to pull the intake off, so let's do that. Heavy?
Don't need a pry bar.
This is the growing pile. Yeah, growing pile. I mean, besides the stuff that fell off in it, it actually looks pretty clean.
It ain't terrible considering the age, no. Not bad sludge.
You guys might be delighted to see this. It's pretty, this is the most disgusting engine I think I've ever personally taken apart. Look at all this sludge. Look at that. It's like, it's probably ring material, like piston ring material or something, and this is like carbon buildup. It's just, oh my gosh.
Pressure ratio like 6.5 to 1.
It is now. Just, yeah, I don't see any apparent damage right off the bat.
No holes in the top of the pistons that we can tell.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anything's cracked just yet, but then again, I put a bunch of like Marvel mystery oil and stuff in here to try to get it to soak and see if it would pop loose.
Understatement.
You can definitely feel a nice ridge at the top here. Like it's got some wear.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I was gonna grab. I was gonna grab this. Here. God. Disgusting. It's all that.
God, you can smell the marble oil.
It's all the engine
Love
gravy.
that shit.
It's like sand. Oh my god. Jesus Christ, this is a Ugh. All right. Okay, well, we're gonna take the oil pan off and we'll show you that. All right, getting ready to pop the oil pan off here. It's gonna say a lot right here. Oh my god.
There's some sludge.
Oh my god.
There you go, boys and girls.
Well, I'd say
Change your oil regularly, and your car will live forever.
Okay, so my garage is pretty destroyed. Check it out. This is gonna be.
He thinks this is destroyed.
We're gonna get this thing broken apart. It's gonna go to a machine shop by the end of the month, and then we can start figuring out what kind of pistons and all that good stuff it needs in it. So today I'm actually gonna be starting a different project. I'm gonna be attempting to take the door panels off. I really don't have any idea on how these come off exactly. I'm wanting to do that so I can get it off and start prepping it to paint it so these can all be the same color. I'm probably at some point going to take all the dash pad stuff off and do the same with that, but that will be for a different day. The one thing I'm pretty certain about now is I'm not going to use this factory console and shifter. I found a different shifter. It's with the company Kilduff Machine. They actually did the shifter for my Challenger. And this console isn't in great shape. I mean, I'm sure I could fix it up, make it look nicer, paint it and all that, which I might do at some point, honestly. But for the time being, I think it makes more sense to go with the aftermarket one, which also has a ratcheting function in it. So, you know, it's more of that kind of like poor man's pro touring style, which is kind of what I'm going after right now. Okay, so I got the panel off. This is the protective stuff that's doing a great job protecting, as you can see. It's basically falling off, which is fine, because it's gonna go bye-bye. I obviously have quite a bit that I need to get loose. I want to do the rear panels back there. I'm not sure how far I'm gonna go with this, because this would actually need to come out too. I don't know what you call this. It's kind of loose. I might actually take the visors off too. They look pretty nasty, and I don't think that would be too difficult to take off and, you know, scrub it down a little bit. I also have to take off these panels here on the column. But I kind of want to just do this one and just test it out and just see how I feel about it, you know? I don't want to take apart the whole interior and then get to the point where I start spray painting just this first one and I'm like, this looks like crap and I don't want to do that. I got it all stripped down and I'm gonna wash it really good again and scuff it up and we'll just see what happens. Here's my super professional paint booth. Probably getting overspray and, well, everything. Nah. I got some drop plastic down here. I got some ventilations. This is the progress. This is what's happening. It actually looks pretty good. There's a couple imperfections that still kind of come through a little bit, and that's due to me being a little bit lazy with the prep work. But I gotta say, this is at least 300% better. I just did a last coat on these pieces also. The color match is just really good. I was a little worried about it, but it looks great. This piece, I'm impressed. It looks great. Pretty happy with the results so far. There's a lot left to do, so that's gonna be fun. Anyways, that is it for the test painting. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and do the rest of it like this. I'm gonna just basically pull out the rest of the interior, headliner included, I think. And then I think I'm gonna kind of try to get this car going, and it's just gonna look like a zombie for a while, which is okay. I just wanted this to be a drivable project car, and it's just gonna look a little more for a while. The goal is staying the same. It's just gonna be a little more disassembled for a while than I thought. Well, I gone and done did what I didn't really want to do, but in the light of what I saw earlier with some of that surface rust in here, I went and completely gutted everything. Well, you know, minus the dash for now, but I got everything completely out. There's a bolt that is stubborn over there in that little seat belt. But other than that, I got all the panels out. I even took the headliner out. There's a little bit of scaliness up here, but I don't think it's gonna be too crazy. There's some stuff going on here that's not super cool, but I'll worry about all that stuff later on. Today I am going to be trying to detail the Javelin. This wasn't in my original plan, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I'm gonna try to. So just to give you an idea, I don't know if you've seen any of the other videos, but the Javelin's paint is not good. There is a decent amount of paint still on it, technically, but there's just rust, little spots here and there, pretty much everywhere. These tiny little spots here that you see throughout. It's probably the worst up here on the roof. But yeah, there are sections, I mean, there's huge dents in it and everything, but there's good sections where it has a little bit of paint that I might be able to work with. So originally, I was actually thinking about doing what I've seen some of the like patina guys do, where they kind of just scuff it up and then they use linseed oil and do all that, which probably would be a lot easier and cheaper. But then I was thinking, there's so much paint on here that I should be able to buff out a lot of the actual paint and make it look decent, and it'll probably last a little bit longer than just using linseed oil. So I made some purchases today with some of my bitchin' banana money and I got a pressure washer, I got a like a orbital buffer, I got some pads, I got some compound, I got all the stuff that I'm gonna need, hopefully, to do this car. So this is gonna be an all-day project probably. I'm starting a little late. It's already like 10:30 or 11 or something, but I'm gonna start out on the top as you do, and I have like some Scotch-Brite pads, and I'm basically gonna use some Evaporust. I'm gonna let it sit up here for a little bit, and then I'm kind of gonna just scuff it up and try to bring down some of this scale, some of this surface rust right here. And then we'll see what it's like after that. But I mean, the plan is to basically just bring it down everywhere on the entire car. And then afterwards, I'll pressure wash it again, which will be like the third time already. And I'll see if I can get it looking somewhat decent and get rid of a lot of this rust. We'll see how that works, and we'll just kind of take it from there. All right, so here's a little explanation of step one. So this is actually a variation of something I saw on YouTube, so I guess we'll kind of see how this works. But I'm going to be using Evaporust. I'm going to pour some in our spray bottle here, and I'm going to spray some on the top. I need to see if I have any masking tape, but I'm going to spray it down, and I'm going to use the Scotch-Brite pads here to kind of scuff it up, work it in there, and then I'll probably spray some off with a different spray bottle of just water to kind of get some of the residue out of the way. What I did see on YouTube was actually, instead of Evaporust, it was CLR, which is roughly the same. Like, this is safe on your hands and everything, just like CLR is. And then they used a green Scotch-Brite pad instead of this kind. This is actually more fine, so maybe this will do less damage. If I need to be more aggressive, then I'll just physically be more aggressive on it. And then I got the rust block, the inhibitor, just in case when I do bring this down, it's bare metal underneath, and I can kind of spray some of this on there, let it dry, and then I won't really have to worry about this coming back as bad, at least, or as quickly. Okay, so I got some progress here. I put some Evaporust in a spray bottle. I sprayed it down, let it sit for just a minute or two, and I scuffed it up a little bit with the pad. And then I soaked it again, and you can already see the bare metal coming through where the rust was at, which is like unbelievable, because I don't think I've even had this on here for a total of 5 minutes yet, and it's already coming up, which is crazy. So after I scuff it, I just sprayed it down again, get some more going on there. It's just like all like, oh, this nasty crap. Look at that, just like rust and old paint. Oh yeah, it's pretty gross. But you know what? I think that this is actually gonna work. I'm already feeling good about it, so hopefully it stays good. Hopefully the feelings stay positive. All right, so step one of buffing it out is I got some Meguiar's. It's medium cut. Supposed to remove medium defects, including swirls, water spots, and sanding marks. Cuts quickly to reduce to a polishing rouge. I'm gonna start at like 10. This thing's got some speed. Oh, that's a lot. Okay. I think it might be just a little bit too soft with this medium cut. So I think I'm gonna switch to one of the foam pads and just see how that works, how it looks after that. All right, my dudes, I did one section of the roof. I tried to use the wool to begin with, but I didn't feel like it was doing enough. So I switched to my coarse foam pad and used the medium cutting compound. And it buffed it down pretty good. And then I used a medium coarseness pad with a slightly lighter compound. So I have it basically to a beginning point for buffing, and let me show you the difference because I think it's pretty damn good so far. I'm pretty impressed. Look at that. I mean, there's all the spots where the rust was, but the paint actually buffed out pretty decent. Look at that comparison. That is just unbelievable. Honestly, I am 1000% surprised. I am just kind of in shock that it came out anywhere close to as nice as it did. There's a couple different things I've been doing. Just to catch you up real quick, the engine and transmission have already been pulled. I did a buffing and polishing job on a paint. I also already stripped the interior and got all the old stuff out, and all the panels are pretty much either sitting up here in storage or they're at my house waiting to get painted, which is almost completely done. But that brings us to the next thing that we're actually doing, which is the interior floorboard, actually. So what I'm gonna be trying to do today is strip off some of the surface rust. There's a couple of things I need to actually just get out of here first to get it completely ready for wire brushing and everything. You can see I have like a seatbelt buckle right there that has a stripped bolt on it, so I need to work on getting that out. And then there's just like little carpet remnants, and there's like old factory sound deadening that I want to get up. There's really not a lot of deadening though, which is kind of surprising. It's really just this like rubberized mat kind of stuff, which comes off pretty easily. Yeah, it's actually really easy. But then there's like some stuff underneath. I don't know, it's just surface rust and whatever. So I'm gonna try to take care of that as best as I can. And I would love to have this prepped to the point where it'll be ready for at least some rust neutralizer. And then after that, I'm just gonna be putting some POR 15 on it, which is actually kind of like a multi-stage thing. So I'm gonna try to get that done within like maybe the next week or two. And this will be hopefully completely ready for brand new carpet that I already have set aside for it. As you can see, there's quite a bit of scaling kind of going on here. Ooh, that did not stay. And I'm gonna just try to get this removed as best as possible. And there's actually like a chassis rust reformer kind of thing. I think it's by like, I believe it's like Eastwood or something. And you can kind of spray it in weird spots. Like I could maybe even just like stick it in here and spray it. And it just encapsulates the rust, so the rust can't continue to do what rust does. There's some tough spots that I'm gonna have to get to. Like back behind here, use a light. There's some rust back in here, which is definitely going to be fun trying to get to. You know, and I'm not super worried about it because, I mean, for one, I live in Arizona, so it's probably never really going to get any worse than this, but I would like to take care of it wherever I can, you know. My dad was saying that this stuff up here might be from mouse pee, which is pretty gross. Got some stuff off the driver's side floorboard here. It's pretty slow going. I gotta say, it's gonna take me forever if I try to just scrape it all off without heating it up or anything. I haven't given up just yet, and like, I don't know how far up I'm really gonna go. I'm probably just gonna go kind of where that line is right there, just across. I think that I'm gonna get out the wire brush on the die grinder here and just see how much actually comes up. I'm definitely gonna put a mask on so I don't choke on, you know, mouse remnants or whatever. I'm gonna just give it a whack here and see what kind of progress I can make, and if it's too messy or it's not really doing what I want to do, then I might have to take some more drastic measures and get like a heat gun or something and heat up this old factory sound deadening so I can actually get it off the metal. So I'm gonna give that a try. Alright, so I just vacuumed a little bit, try to get some of the crap off the bottom here so it's not flying all over the place. But I'm gonna try my wire wheel and see what happens. Hopefully I can get some stuff up and make my life a lot easier. But my hopes aren't really that high. Holy crap! It's way too powerful for a wire brush. Alright, so that was a little intense. I had the big cone style wire brush on it, and it was just like the actual metal was like spreading on it. It was spinning so fast. So I'm gonna try this smaller wheel and see if I have any better luck with that, and if not, I'm gonna just use a drill probably and see how that works. I did get down to some bare metal here, but there's just so much crap, so much of that tar like shit that I mean, it just spins so fast it's really hard to be precise with it, so maybe I'll have better luck with this. I don't know. Forgot my safety glasses. Jeez, there they are. There they are, on top of the car. There's nothing really over here. There's like some seam sealant stuff that they put on from the factory here and there, like some of that. I don't know, it's just to fill the cracks and like cover the like where the pieces met together and all that. Beyond that, it's all just bare metal pretty much. It was painted at one time. You can see like where the paint has come up a little bit, but all this stuff will be a little more easy. I'm actually going to give it a shot though on the carpet and kind of just see how that works. Whew, I was going to do that without a mask on. That was the wrong idea. Oh my god. Holy crap, that is messy. Wow. I got stuff all over me. Jesus. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna let that air out just a little bit there. Well, this does make quick work of the carpet. So there's that. That's nice. The plan here is to basically just warm up sections of the tar, whatever it is, on a floorboard, and I'm just gonna get it nice and hot. I'm gonna try to see if it'll just scrape off. So I'm hoping this works. So I got a couple little scrapers here. I just got like a regular, it just looks like a putty knife kind of thing. And then there's like a slightly different end thing here. Like a couple of the ends are curved and one's flat, but I don't know. I just figured I'd put it on there just in case I find it useful. So without further ado, let's get on this. Seems to be doing something. Well, it's hot, it's messy, and it's smelly too. But the good thing is, I'm making some pretty good progress. I've scraped off quite a bit. Still really gross looking, but I'm seeing that I'm making progress, and that's the important thing. This thing's smoking, so I'm gonna check that out. I spent probably a good 45 minutes on each side, just the floorboards, like where your feet go on the front, and I scraped off probably about 90% of it, and then I got some engine degreaser because that's the closest thing I have to like a paint thinner or anything like that, really. And I just sprayed it down and let it sit for a while and just wiped it off. And this is what the passenger side looks like after just one pass of that. So as you can see, a lot of it came off. It came off pretty good in this area over here. There's still some little specks of gunk here and all that I'm gonna try to get up a little better. Kind of missed a spot way up in there. But overall, it looks pretty good. I'll show you the other side. This is the engine degreaser on the driver's side. It's just sitting. You can see it's just kind of melting away some of that remnant tar crap. So I'm gonna let this sit just a little bit longer. I'm gonna wipe it off and we'll take a look at it and kind of reassess, see what I want to do. My initial idea was I'm gonna pretty much just get this like 95% clean, and then I was thinking about just covering the dash with some plastic, maybe the windshield too, and then I'm gonna get the wire wheel out probably and just kind of try to clean it up as good as I can. Obviously there's some surface rust I'd like to take care of just a little bit better. I don't expect to get all the rust off. I just want to get it down to a point where I can put the POR 15 on it and it'll seal it properly. Let's just see where this progress takes us. This is the last look after I did the engine degreaser. Used a scour pad right here, scuffed it up quite a bit with it still wet, wiped it all off. Then I used some brake cleaner. I'm using a lot of stuff here I'm probably not supposed to really be using, especially in confined area like this, but I just sprayed it down real quick, wiped it, and this is what it looks like. So far so good. The heat gun working and getting that tar off pretty well really got me in a good mood. I'm feeling pretty productive, so let's keep that going. everything, sand it down a little bit. One of the steps that I want to do before I go through and just clean it all is spray it down with some evaporust, and I'm going to let it sit. I'm going to use my scour pad again, scuff it in there a little bit, spray it down again, scuff it down, and then I'll just wipe it all off with some water and a towel. And hopefully that'll knock down the rust a little bit, and I can get on to actually cleaning it. Making progress. Oh man, I need a shower. Visually, it doesn't really look a whole lot different, or maybe that's just because I've been working on this for like 5.5 hours. This is pretty much it. This is the end result. Or I should say about 98% of the brown that you actually see is paint. AMC just painted everything the same as the body color. So a lot of this is just paint. A lot of the rust that was here on the transmission column actually came out pretty good with the evaporust. I basically just spray everything down and I scrub it, spray it down, scrub it, and I kind of just let it sit for a while, wipe it all off, rinse it with some water, wipe that off, and then afterwards I use the rust neutralizer, and hopefully that'll kind of keep it from getting any flash rusting or anything like that. But I believe, well, I still have to wipe down the interior, or the top of this here with something. There's just a bunch of that rust residue, rust dust that's all sitting up there. I need to wipe that down. We're getting pretty close to being ready for the POR 15. I believe I already showed this, but if not, this is what I have. It's like a kit. It comes in a box, and this is a floorboard and trunk repair kit. So it comes with like all these brushes, it comes with the gloves, comes with different kinds of paint. It has some epoxy putty and like some stuff to do a patch, I believe, or there should be something for that in there. Anyways, that concludes the cleaning part, I suppose. Now we can get on to actually putting the POR 15 on there. Alright, well, it's been a minute since I got to make any real progress on the floorboard, but today I actually did make quite a bit of progress. As you can see here, I put down one coat of POR 15, and this is kind of what it looks like so far. It actually looks pretty good. I'm pretty impressed with it. I went up to that line that I was talking about right there. I did that because a lot of the stuff that's up here requires a little more intricate work to get around things, and eventually this whole dashboard will probably come out and I'll end up doing all that. But yeah, that's where I brought it to so far. When you're actually in like more of a seated position here, you can't even really see it anyways. And I'll probably have the carpet go just up, just a little bit above it. And you can also see that I blew apart this a little bit more. So I took the whole front grille off. There's a little support thing that goes over the top right here. Got that out. Took the front bumper off with the support still attached. I took the, this is like the hood latch assembly, I guess you could call it. It's kind of like a somewhat structural piece also. I took a bunch of, there's basically like that plastic grill. There's like some supports that go up against the upper radiator support here. And took those off, and they're soaking in some evaporust. There's a bunch of, I have like a whole pail over here. That right there. It's all just sitting over there, and it's getting nice looking. All right, I got the top coat on there. It is sitting. I just read the directions again, and it says it takes like 3 or 4 days, something like that, to completely cure and be totally hard. So yeah, I'm just not gonna touch that. I'm pretty much done with the interior for now. I'm starting on another part of the project of the Javelin AMX. This time I'm actually doing some more important work, which is getting everything clear in the engine compartment. As you can see, I've gotten a little bit started here already. I got the wiring harness kind of laying out here to the side. I kind of just started on this side and started working my way around. Started getting some lines loose on the master cylinder. I'm gonna get these popped out. I'm gonna get the proportioning valve popped out. Basically just everything cleared out of here. Master cylinder and brake booster obviously need to come out and get out of the way. There's some other electrical nonsense over here that needs to be taken out. I'm probably going to take the power steering off of here and maybe even replace it with something different that has a little more road feel. I took the motor mounts out already. The next step, which I'm not really super sure what I'm going to do just yet, I'm thinking about bringing this to a media blaster. There's actually a guy that's like pretty much right down the road from me. One of the main reasons why I'm even considering it is because there's some areas like over here, kind of like where it gets down into these smaller crevasses. I don't know what that word is. But there's some areas, yeah, just like back in there that I really want to get to, but I wouldn't be able to with a wire wheel. And this would just be quick work for somebody with a sandblasting machine. It's not like my shop is like spotless or anything, but if I can make less of a mess and just get this thing prepped the way that I want it, that would be a major plus for me. One other thing that I will mention is the engine is at a machine shop right now. It's getting final board and everything. It's going to be 30 over. In case you haven't been watching my channel, a 401 was originally here, and I'm getting everything redone. There's a guy in town. His name's Dan Curtis. He has a company called AMX Restorations, and he does everything for AMCs. It's basically the closest thing you could get to having an AMC dealership in your own town. So it's super cool. But that's where I got this car. That's where the engine is gonna go. He's gonna blueprint the whole thing, and it's gonna have some goodies, but that will be a different video for a different time. I just wanted to explain why there's no engine and where the engine is. It's gonna be several months before I actually get the engine back, so that's gonna take a minute. It's gonna be a process, but I'm gonna get everything ready. I just want this whole thing just looking really nice for when the engine does come back. I just want to have this completely ready. Maybe I'll even have the transmission ready. That would be pretty cool. And then I could just put everything back in here, just pat it on the head and be like, yeah, cool. Okay, so I'm getting ready to take this guy out, trying to do the brake booster with the master cylinder, all in one thing. I realized that the actual bracket that's connected to the firewall has 2 bolts on the outside of the firewall, and looks like 2 bolts that are on the inside of the firewall back in the inside of the car. So that's not super helpful. So I'm taking everything loose from the actual bracket, and then I'll figure out what to do with the bracket itself. I have 1 bolt left that is being a royal pain in the ass. So wish me luck. Get about 1/16 of a turn every time I do this. So I think by about Christmas I'll be ready to take this out. You know, times like this I'm really glad I don't have air tools or, you know, really any kind of assisting. You know, I just want to feel, all the work. I just want it to be known that I don't think that I'm a car expert. I don't think I know any more than the average dude, really. I just have a lot more ambition, possibly. But my dad let me know that it connects up in here. It's this right here. I believe that's a brake switch. All it is just a little linkage right there. I unbolt it and then I should be able to pull it out. So having somebody that knows more than you about cars is probably one of the best resources you could possibly ask for if you're trying to take on a project like this, or really any kind of project. Just wanted to point that out. Alright, so I'm at the shop and I'm waiting for Randy and Ivan. I don't know if either one of them is going to show up because, well, you never know if they're going to show up. But this is where we're at right now, right here at the beginning. There's still a lot of stuff to take out. So I'm gonna try to get this as prepared as I can, and then I can get started on this whole section. So let's just take one last look at it here. Randy and I, we struggled with this for probably like at least an hour, and we finally got it off. This is the reason why I was wanting to take the fender off though. This is basically just a nice little area to collect a bunch of dirt. Yeah, this is how deep the dirt is. It's coming up to what, maybe like an inch and a half, just dirt, just like, I can like dig in here. Look at that. Yeah. This is why I did this though, because I want to get this all cleared out, and then I'm gonna do POR 15 in here so I can make sure this doesn't rot out, because so far it actually seems pretty solid. You can't really see, there's really bad light under here, but there's no rot all the way through. If you want to grab that, you can see the bottom, it still has the coating and stuff on it, and I'm sure there's a little bit of surface rust, but this has managed to stay solid. If this were a car that were up north and it had all this dirt in here, like this would have been rotted. I'm fairly confident about that. Day 437 of trying to get the engine bay prepared. I actually have Ivan coming over to help me with some stuff. There's a couple things I'm just not super sure about as far as disassembly goes and everything, so I just want to make sure I'm not doing anything really stupid. So he's gonna come over and help me out with that, and we're gonna try to get the engine bay basically 100% ready for media blasting. There we go, guys. Got the Javelin out in the sunlight. Weird. These guys are cool. These guys are the ones that did the sandblasting, or the media blasting on the air cleaner. I'm gonna stand over here somewhere. Guys, check this out. Woo! Man, I'm just really impressed right now. Look how clean these fender troughs are. A lot of this came out super, super nice. It's gonna be a lot of kind of detail work. I'm probably gonna pop these wheels off, and I'm gonna get back in there with POR 15 or whatever paint that I end up using. I'm definitely gonna be doing POR 15 for the fender troughs at the very least, and probably just, I would say at least the whole wheel well area. I was gonna be a little more thorough with this part of the video. I really wanted to show a lot of the steps in between, but I really got a bug up my butt, and I just really started going to town on it in any bit of free time that I had. And I have a lot of it done, so sorry to take that away from you, but I will explain what I did. So this is what it looks like, guys. You can't really tell which parts are POR 15 and which parts are spray paint. And just as a disclaimer, I'm not completely done, so there will be a little bit more progress that you'll actually be able to see. So I don't know if I mentioned it already or not, but I was gonna POR 15 all this. So that's what I did. I did like 2 or 3 coats of POR 15, just the regular semi-gloss black that they have. I did not get to a lot of this stuff under here that's going to be harder to get to. I want to get some of the suspension components out of the way. I want to be able to POR 15 some of the more, you know, heavy duty parts over here that's going to see a lot of chips and that type of thing. So I want to do this whole thing. I just need to get everything out kind of at the same time. That's why you'll notice that I also didn't do the engine cross member and some of the other stuff like the sway bar. I mean, I kind of spritzed it with some paint, but that's about it. I want to drop that cross member down and everything with it, and then I'm gonna POR 15 that stuff, get it looking nice. Then I'm just gonna put it back up into place, and this will be pretty much done. I just did, I guess you could consider it 2 coats, more like 1.5. I just wanted to cover the paint so it doesn't start to rust or anything. It's been a minute, and so far I've been lucky and nothing has gotten any flash rust or anything, but I wanted to, you know, not spread that luck too thin. So I got it covered. It actually looks pretty damn good. It's, I would say, by far the best part of the car so far. I need to go over it some more with some paint. But really, this is, I would say this is attainable, or almost, I can almost finish this in one day. One more day, I should say. So, that's pretty cool. Alright, so we got off a lot of the stuff in here. I'll be able to get to some of this. We're gonna have to get a spring compressor, I think, or get one from a parts store maybe, and get this so we can actually remove the spring safely. It's kind of a pain in the ass. Did you have to break off the shock stud on this side too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even mess around. I just went ahead and just snapped it right off.
Yeah, this would be a lot easier if we had the spring compressor. Probably.
Boy, if only we had power tools. God, I don't know how people work without power tools.
Don't you like being able to feel the work though? The bolt rounder fell off.
Boy, I wish we had power tools.
Yeah, is that it? No. That was an insane action shot. Okay, so Dan put some more POR 15 inside the wheel well area. Got it all over.
Yeah.
We took apart the other side. That one's still gonna have to get painted. There's a couple other random things, like these guys we just kind of set there temporarily. Strut mounts, something like that.
So we got a pretty good amount of stuff done today. You know, there's still quite a bit to go. It just ends up always being a little bit more work than you hope for, but we made a lot of progress. I have a lot of stuff to paint and do POR 15 on, so that's gonna have to get done over the next few weeks, but there's plenty of time to get all that stuff done. I still got marks on my face from wearing that paint mask. But yeah, there's plenty of time to get things done on that. We're probably just gonna kind of reconvene on this around the time the brakes hopefully get here, so we can kind of just throw everything back together as far as brakes and suspension goes. So you saw that I had Randy and Ivan come over. We got a lot of the remaining components of the suspension off the front, and everything is loose for the brakes and everything. I did get some progress done afterwards. I put the sway bar back on and strut rod with the bushings. I just have them loosely sitting in there. I just figured I'd, you know, get them in place so I don't lose it. But this is where we're at. We got everything loose, pretty much ready to be reassembled at this point. I'm bringing the power brake booster with me to a local place that actually rebuilds them here instead of trying to send it out and have it redone and all that. So hopefully that'll get started. At this point, I'm also waiting on the Willwood brakes, so that's gonna take a minute. And also, this is somewhat unrelated, but I just sent out the sliders for the seats. I'm gonna get those media blasted, just completely recondition them myself. And then I'm designing a custom bracket for under the seat. And I have a buddy of mine working on a CAD drawing for that too. So that'll be cool, and hopefully that'll work. I'll show you more about that in a different video. Now that I think about it, I never finished the interior of the car. I was supposed to do POR 15 on the roof, and this has been a thorn in my side, but in this channel up here that you can barely see in video, there's a bunch of rust that keeps getting stuck in there, like when I kind of break stuff loose. So I'm actually gonna pump up my little tiny air compressor over here. I'm gonna try to blow that all out, and then I'm gonna POR 15 on that finally. So I'll be mostly done with the interior. At least I'm getting something done. All right, well, I cleaned up the interior a little bit. I vacuumed up some of that loose glass media stuff that was blowing around. And then I got it dirty again. But I cleaned this up a little bit, you know, still obviously looks like crap, but I used some of the cleaner on it just to get the loose stuff off of it. I pretty much have it ready for POR 15. I still don't really know what I'm gonna do with that just yet. Those little spots, they're not like structurally really gonna make any difference. So I'm thinking about just POR 15 on it and then just call it good. I mean, one of these days I'm gonna actually restore this thing for real, but this is more like a daily driver restoration or something like that. So I'm not super worried about it. That seems like a very common refrain of mine. I'm not super worried about it, because I'm not really worried about this thing being super nice and winning trophies or whatever. I just want to be able to drive this without worrying about it falling apart or breaking in half or something. So that's pretty much where I'm at on it. All right, I finally got the ceiling roof area done with the POR 15. If you want to take a look at that real quick. Nice and shiny, all black. And I got the floor already done. I just wiped it down again because now I am going to attempt to lay down some of the sound deadening that I have. Kind of eyeballing it, kind of have a method to the madness. Need a little more of an angle. Nice. Peel off the back. Kind of try to half-ass line it up.
stick it.
So I think that's about as good as I'm gonna go. Maybe I'll put a little more around the shifter area, fill in a couple gaps here and there, but that's pretty much what I'm gonna leave it as. It's a lot better than the factory was already, I can tell you that much. It's been a couple days. I did finish the soundproofing stuff that I put on the floor. I actually did a lot more than that. Well, it definitely looks like a lot more. I haven't really had a lot of time, so the time that I do get, I'm really just hustling to get as much progress done as I can. So I didn't record this last part, but this is what it looks like now. Overall, it looks pretty good. I really can't complain about it at all. And I'm already moving on to a couple of other things to try to get this a little closer to completion. I'm gonna take this seat over here, and I've decided I'm just gonna shoot it with the SEM stuff, SEM, whatever it's called, and I'm gonna make this match the rest of the interior of the car. Because now that it's getting closer to being done and I'm actually like, wow, this looks decent, I'm not super stoked on having this be like weirdly off from the rest of it. So I'm gonna get that the same color. Okay. All right, it's in there. It doesn't work though. Well, my sliders are inoperable. I think I might have, I don't know, maybe I need more spacers or something, but it's in here, and it's actually at the correct seating position for me, so there's like not a lot to complain about here. So I think I figured out what the issue is with the sliders. At some point during this process, I lost 2 of the washers or the nuts that goes onto the bottom of the car, like underneath. And when I tightened them down, it kind of put them at an angle slightly. I did just the outside bolts on the back. There's 2 on each side. So I think that by doing that, I kind of cocked them a little bit, so it's not really wanting to slide as properly as it should. And I also probably need some more washers to get it up off the carpet just a little bit, because it's kind of like sinking down into the carpet. So yeah, those are probably going to be a couple things I need to do. So just basically more washers, and then I need to try to find those nuts or get replacements for those, and then this should work properly. But I'm pretty happy with it for now. At least I can sit in the car and I can make vroom vroom noises and pretend like I'm doing stuff. And just seeing the seat in the car just really, it helps the old motivation a little bit, you know? I have my shifter finally, and that's gonna be really awesome. I can't wait to get the shifter. It's the killed off shifter, as I mentioned before. I'll show you what kind it is as soon as I get it. I'm gonna do a separate video for the unboxing part of that, and then I'm gonna do the rest as part of this video. The console is definitely rough. It's seen better days. I'm not totally sure what I want to do with the console just yet, but I'm going with an aftermarket shifter, and it's gonna look kind of wonky in here because this is like really shallow right here but deeper over here, and the shifter I want sticks up like 4 inches, so it's gonna be sticking up more in the back than it is, I mean more in the front than it is in the back. So I'm gonna kind of adapt that hole to make it fit better and all that. I'm gonna get this painted, and hopefully it'll look good. Randy's here, just got off of work. But I did a lot more trimming and cutting. The way that I had it originally was making it clocked kind of to the left, and it was the way that the whole console looks, it was just, the whole thing was just like, and it looked really weird. And I just kept cutting and sanding and everything until I could get it moved to the right as much as possible, and it's pretty much perfectly straight in there. And that's about as far as you can possibly go to the right because of kind of how this is shaped in the front, like I was saying. So luckily it goes back down just a little bit right here, and that's as far as it's gonna go. Today is hopefully the last major day of removing parts from my Javelin AMX. The last part that actually needs to be done is getting rid of this old gas tank. And honestly, I didn't even bother to look at the inside of the gas tank or anything like that because it hasn't been on the road since 1980. It's 2022 in case you didn't know. And that's a long time. So I'm just not even gonna bother with this gas tank. If I take it off and it somehow, it's a miracle that it's in good shape, then I'll just hang on to it or I'll sell it, you know? But I bought a brand new gas tank replacement, so that's what's gonna go in it, regardless. I also had to take some lines off the bottom of the car. There's some brake lines that I haven't gotten just yet. You can see the brake line, one of the brake lines right here, that's kind of just dangling. I know there's gonna be some fuel lines underneath the car that I need to also pop loose. And then there's just some random pieces of exhaust that I haven't bothered to get out just yet, so I'll probably just do that too. There could be more stuff that has to be done. I don't even know what kind of shape things are in behind the dashboard. That's pretty much one of the last variables on this project. And I'm sure stuff will have to be done, but I digress. All the major things will be taken care of after this gas tank. I have never taken a gas tank out, let alone by myself. I don't have a jack here right now. I don't have any jack stands here right now. So it could be interesting. Sometimes the service manual is not super helpful. I don't know how it is for other car makes. I have a technical service manual, and a lot of times they're just like, okay, first step in removing gas tank, remove gas tank. And you're like, dope, thanks. Since I don't have anybody with me, and I don't have a jack, and I don't have jack stands or anything available, I decided to put a couple ramps under here, just in case. It's not like this will kill me, likely, more than likely it won't. But I don't want to get hurt either. I'm by myself. So I put these under here as a fail-safe. So when I start dropping this, if it just comes down and it's like 3/4 of the way full or something, it's not gonna, you know, like break some ribs or something. Captain's log. The bolt that actually goes to the frame that holds the gas tank up just snapped. So on one side it's completely loose. The tank hasn't even moved. The other side I started on a little bit, got it loosened up, but I think I'm gonna wiggle it just a little bit, kind of see what happens. I will be not underneath of the car. Half-inch drive. Okay, it's coming down. Well, kind of glad I put these things here, sort of, but now they're in the way. Alright, I'm just gonna slide it down. In there. Not a lot left. And she's out. God, it stinks. Nasty. Let's see if we can look in here. Oh man. I'm trying to get a good view in there, but you can see the rust. Okay, I'm recording 2 different projects the same day now. We're actually doing the front end stuff the same day, but at some point, once we kind of like get everything going pretty well in the front end, I'm actually gonna continue work on the gas tank now that it's all painted and everything. I just painted it regular black. I think it's Duplicolor. And then I actually did a high temp paint over the top of it, like a satin clear. So that's how I got that finish. I'm just gonna put everything back in there and just basically get it ready for everything else to connect to it. So that'll already be in there and good to go. That's just what I want to finish today on that. My goal for today is to get all the front end stuff back together, which means springs back in here, shocks, all the rest of the brake stuff, all the Willwood brake stuff is gonna go in. I'd like to get this car back onto its own wheels today, which would be my brand new set of wheels that I've never actually had installed yet. I've shown that in a different video too, but that's these right here, the Rota RKR wheels with radial TAs. All right, so we got the pieces over here with the bushings installed, and we're just gonna start slapping some things together. Hopefully we can get enough done where we can get it back onto the floor. What do you think? Some progress has been made. Some of the stuff is back in here. We actually had to run to the hardware store to grab a few bolts and a nut. So now we should be good to continue. Hopefully we can get the springs and shocks in there and maybe get started on the brakes. I didn't realize until I was actually talking to Ivan about it, but Randy took the the floor jack. So even if we do get this
floor jack,
I can't believe he took his floor jack. Just how irresponsible. So even if we do get done today, we can't put it back onto the ground yet. But it's actually fine anyways, because I forgot that these weren't even painted or anything yet, like the control arms and whatnot. So I actually need to go back and I'll probably just do POR 15 and spray whatever I can or whatever I can't get to with a paintbrush. Kind of get that looking decent. Then we can, you know, put everything back together and get it back down on the ground. Been here about 4 hours now, or 5, something like that, and we've gotten stuck on a couple things. First thing was we were missing some hardware, so we got the hardware, then we came back and I couldn't find the spring isolators to put the springs back in, so now I need to order new ones of those. I have no idea what happened to the ones that I actually got. Probably threw them away in 7th or 8th time I cleaned the shop, and I just blasted these and we're just throwing some paint at it really quick. Doesn't have to be super pretty, we just want it to be black and not ugly like it was before, so it's looking a lot better. Ivan was busy on the components here. He kind of did as much pre-assembly as he could given the circumstances, so we're pretty much just getting done what we can. Got about 30 more minutes or so before I got to take off, but I also was able to get the gas tank up in here, so that's nice. If you are going to buy this gas tank though, I'll tell you right now, the tabs, it's these tabs right here on the filler tube, they're supposed to be lined up with the holes in the trunk, and mine wasn't, and I didn't realize that till I already shoved it in there, and it was not easy. So right now pretty much all I did was just line it up on the right side. Can't really see, but there's a hole on either side of this little hump here where the filler neck basically bolts in, and I just did the right side, and it's nice and sturdy in there. It's not gonna go anywhere or anything, but if you want to do this right, you would basically just have to like bend these on the new filler tube, the tabs, to make them line up with the holes in here properly. But yeah, I just don't care. So that's pretty much it for now. Hopefully next time I'll actually have the spring isolators and we can get the springs and shocks and the rest of the brakes on there and finally get it back onto the ground and proper. I'm actually going to have Ivan come back and help me tomorrow morning, and we're going to try to get the rest of the brake components on this time. Maybe see if we can get the rear brakes all squared away too. If I could get everything done, including like bleeding the brakes and all that, I'd be pretty happy. But we'll see how that all works out. There's just always something that happens. It is the next morning, so I'm here waiting for Ivan now, but the drums are dry, so those are ready to be installed. But anyways, I'll get Ivan here, we'll run down what we're gonna do really quick, and then we'll just start getting into things. How far do you think we're gonna get? What's your opinion? There's that look again. I think at least we can get the front brakes done, if nothing else, and get it so we can actually put it on the ground.
Now that you've got a jack.
Yeah, now that Randy, had to replace the one that Randy so rudely took his jack back.
Inconsiderately took his own.
His own property. So, what I would like to do, and this is largely dependent on how much of a pain in the ass the brakes are to put together, is I'd like to try to, maybe I could do this while you're working on that, but I could put the brake booster and maybe look at the bracket. Oh shoot, I think I still need to paint that. I have a brake booster bracket that goes on the firewall.
Right.
And then I already have the brake booster, which is painted, in the master cylinder. And then there's a brake proportioning valve that goes over there. And then I have all the hardline stuff up there.
Okay.
But I can maybe start trying to see if I can get that there while we're working on the Willwoods. You guys are gonna be amazed at how much progress we've made. It's been 1 hour, right?
Yeah, right.
It's totally been 1 hour. And this is the progress we made. We're still working on it. It turns out that these springs are slippery little sumbitches, and they don't like to be compressed. And then the other issue is there's nothing in the engine bay, so these springs don't really compress very well. Using me as a ballast on the front of the car, we were able to access the inside one on the driver's side. So now we just need to repeat that whole process on this side. Unfortunately, I have somewhat limited time, so I don't know if we're gonna I don't know how far we're gonna get with the brakes, unfortunately. Now we can get the brakes all put together, right? Every half an hour we could do it. 30 minutes.
That includes going to get some food or drinks or whatever.
I guess that's what I'm doing next, is getting food. A quick update on this whole scenario. I took the ignition switch off here, and it looks like crap, but it does move. So it wasn't bound up from the ignition switch. So I moved around the rod that goes from basically the steering wheel all the way back, and somehow it's locked up in here somewhere, and we believe it's going to be the actual column lock here, because if we're not mistaken, when you move this little rod here should be moving in and out, and it's not doing anything. And we've tried several different things and it's just not moving, so we're probably going to end up having to further disassemble this and take a look at why it's doing that. And in the meantime, I'll probably grab a new ignition switch, because yeah, this one's seen better days. Well, as usual, things are way more difficult.
Like this all the time.
Things are way more difficult than it should be, but we actually need a few pieces anyways. We were trying to torque down some of these Torx bolts here that connect the rotor to the, I guess it'd just be the hub or the center of the rotor. Yeah. So those are 45 foot-pounds torque, and we were really struggling to get those tight. We got them at like 40, and then as you'll probably see in the video, the torque bit rounded off a little bit, and I smashed my hand into a light bulb. So I'm gonna have to get a new bit, and there's a couple other small things that we need to grab, and then we can come back and get this on. So we'll spend another 5 hours, maybe next Sunday or something, and get these finished.
I got a honey-do list I gotta do.
And then I also got news that the engine is almost done. The heads should be on their way finally. They should be coming in pretty soon, so that should be wrapping up soon. And probably won't have enough money to actually pick up the engine, so I guess I'll be working on that. I did start on the console issue that I was having, or not console, column issue that I was running into, which is this pin up here was actually stuck. It was frozen into this. So I got that loose. Can't really tell by looking at it right now, but in order to actually get this completely off and clean this all up and put it back together, I need to get the turn signal switch completely removed from the column. Okay, I finally pulled this through. It's kind of irritating because taking this off helped a little bit. All this that rusty bracket that I just took off. Here, let me show you guys. So this is like the rusty column bracket that I took off. I'm gonna blast this in the cabinet here in a minute, but I took that off to give me a little extra space to pull this harness through. But the real issue was there's like a plastic sleeve. These are some of the remnants of that sleeve, and that's what the harness was ran through. That just basically made everything even tighter. But if I use a little thinner string or cable or whatever you're gonna use, that would probably help also. But I got it out of there. Hopefully putting the new one in will be easier than taking it out. But I got this loose. I'm gonna cut this off, and I'm gonna just leave this string in here for now. And then I'm going to take the old switch out. I'm gonna clean up some of this stuff. This part here actually is a little bit cleaner than I was expecting, honestly. So I guess really the nasty part is right here. So I just put this through here this time, and like the new one, and it was so much easier putting it back in. I just sprayed this down with some lithium grease. I don't think it's gonna hurt it or anything. You could use dielectric grease maybe on that plastic gear, but I think this will do just fine with that. I got this fed through, so I'm gonna start trying to piece this together and see if we can get this looking like a column again. All right, check it out. It's an off accessory. I believe that's on. This is run and crank. Spring comes back. Everything's good. Then off. The wheel locks. All I gotta do, I already put the new ignition switch way up in there. It's got some weird ass harness that it's missing one of these things on it, but I'm gonna have to get to that eventually. I'll probably do that when I realize something else isn't working about a year from now. But everything's hooked up and it's working. Okay, so that was part one of everything that it took to get to the point where I'm at right now, here in the future. There was a lot to cover there. I think that pretty much at this point in the build, most of the stuff that needs to be taken off is taken off, but what you're about to see is a lot of the smaller electrical components that need to be replaced in the next video. And the next video is pretty much going to be the second half, which will be just putting things on the car that needs to be put on. There's a couple smaller things. Well, so there's a couple things that are coming up that I didn't really anticipate, But I'll let you see for yourself what that entails in the next video. Please subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think you could have done better. You know, that kind of stuff. YouTube stuff. Anyways, thanks guys. I really appreciate it. Catch you later.